In the summer of 1943, a vast battlefield in western Russia became the stage for one of the greatest and most ferocious confrontations of the Second World War. This was the Battle of Kursk, a pivotal conflict that would mark a turning point in favor of the Soviet Union and alter the trajectory of the war. In the year preceding this monumental clash, Germany's advance into Soviet territory was marked by initial successes, capturing extensive lands and inflicting heavy losses on the Soviets. However, the tide was slowly beginning to turn. The harsh Russian winter of 1942–43 had stalled German progress, and with the defeat at Stalingrad, German troops faced a formidable Soviet counteroffensive. Despite this, Adolf Hitler remained determined to regain the initiative, setting his sights on Kursk as the focal point for a new offensive, codenamed Operation Citadel. The Kursk salient, a protrusion in the front line stretching over 150 kilometers, presented a tantalizing target for the German High Command. Hitler believed that a decisive victory here would cripple Soviet morale and cement German dominance on the Eastern Front. For the Germans, capturing Kursk meant capturing the strategic initiative for the rest of the war. As the Germans meticulously planned their offensive, the Soviet Union prepared to deliver a masterclass in military strategy and resilience. Stalin and his generals, notably Georgy Zhukov, were well aware of the impending German attack. Through effective intelligence gathering, aided by the code-breaking efforts that had given them crucial insights into German plans, the Soviets devised a formidable defensive strategy to exploit their advantage. As dawn broke on July 5, 1943, waves of German tanks and infantry surged toward the Soviet positions, igniting a conflict that would involve over 2 million troops, 6,000 tanks, and 5,000 aircraft on both sides. The initial assault was brutal, as the Germans found themselves confronting deeply entrenched Soviet forces, shielded by extensive minefields, tank traps, and artillery batteries. The Soviets, having foreseen the German strategy, possessed a significant advantage. Across the front, their forces employed a mixture of defense in depth and mobile counterattacks, designed to absorb the German thrust while bleeding them dry of men and materiel. Over several days, the battle would become the largest tank confrontation in history, with both sides fielding thousands of armored vehicles. One of the most storied engagements during the Battle of Kursk occurred at Prokhorovka, where Soviet and German tanks clashed in a titanic struggle. Here, the Soviet 5th Guards Tank Army under General Pavel Rotmistrov faced off against the elite units of the German Panzer SS divisions. The melee was intensely close quarters, tanks engaging at point-blank range, resulting in tremendous losses on both sides. Despite inflicting significant casualties, the German offensive began to lose momentum. The Soviets' staunch defense, coupled with fierce counterattacks, gradually sapped the German offensive capability. It soon became apparent that the Germans could not sustain their initial gains. As July progressed, the Soviets initiated their own counteroffensive, marking the start of Operation Kutuzov, further turning the tables on the Germans. By mid-August, with the German forces in retreat, the battle's outcome was clear. The Soviet triumph at Kursk not only thwarted Hitler's ambitions on the Eastern Front, but also marked the beginning of a relentless Soviet advance toward Eastern Europe and, eventually, Berlin itself. The significance of this victory cannot be overstated. It shattered the myth of German invincibility and invigorated Allied forces on all fronts. The Battle of Kursk stands as a testament to strategic foresight, preparation, and the indomitable will of the Soviet Union. The triumph at Kursk was achieved through a combination of intelligence, planning, and courage, setting a precedent that would ultimately contribute to the downfall of Nazi Germany. In the annals of military history, Kursk remains a symbol of the Soviet resolve to defend their homeland against what seemed an unstoppable force and marks a decisive pivot toward the ultimate victory in World War II. This triumph, hard-won and costly, not only altered the course of the war, but helped shape the geopolitical landscape of the post-war world. The events at Kursk remind us of the extraordinary human toll and the strategic brilliance required to turn the tide in the world's most devastating conflict.